Hello everybody. Hey, thanks for coming by. Thanks for joining along with us here. Chris Petri here. We're going to be creating a beautiful flower painting here. We're going to do some beautiful roses. You can see the finished painting right here. We're going to actually create this. It's very simple. We're kind of keeping in the mindset of let's keep it fast, let's keep it going, let's keep it a quick painting, not too much time fussing around. Simple, fast, focused. Let's just notice how we had a beautiful vertical composition here. So our design principle is verticals. We used a flat brush here on the sides of the painting here, like this. So basically, in a nutshell, this is what we're doing here. We're going to create a beautiful, gorgeous flower scene. These are beautiful roses. We're doing it all in just a sepia tone. So we're using our sepia paint and just doing a sepia tone painting, simple glazing technique, wet on wet. We're using the wet technique, wetting the paper first, lots of water, taking some light wash, doing vertical strokes with our flat brush along the sides darker, letting it get lighter into the center of the painting. Then we come back, we let that dry 100%, really dry. We blow dry the painting, or if you want to let it dry a couple hours, fine, whatever you want to do. Then we get in and we do our darks. We do our darkest darks with our roses here. Beautiful roses and some stems and leaves, leaf forms, some splashes, and we come up with this beautiful composition. And can you imagine this? This beautiful, gorgeous painting with a nice white cream color mat around it and then a black, dark black frame around it. This would be great in any kind of living room, dining room, kitchen. You could have a beautiful time creating paintings like this, and this is just gorgeous. So I've seen these in beautiful restaurants around the world. Gorgeous, composition, color scheme, everything is just about this is just perfect. So let's keep that in mind. Let's get started. Join along here on the video, have some fun. Again, maybe if you don't like flower paintings too much, just give it a try. You'll learn something new, and of course, if you just watch and you don't really paint this scene, you'll learn a lot about watercolor and the techniques that we use, because that's really what it's about. If you can learn all the techniques and the methods that we use every time, every painting we make is the same techniques, the same methods in watercolor, although we notice the subject matter changes. This might be flowers this week, boats next week, mountains the week after, cityscapes the next week. The methods, the techniques with watercolor and our paints and the way we handle our brushes and our art materials, that stays the same every week. So no matter what we're doing here on this channel, remember, it's always a benefit to watch and learn, because it's the same techniques, methods as we go for watercolor. It's just the medium change, or the subject matter changes, but the medium is the same. The watercolor medium does not change. The way you handle your brushes, the way you handle your paints, your water, the way you work, and the way you handle your tools of the trade, which is watercolor, your brushes, your paint, your water, that's the key. So keep watching, keep learning, and then the paintings you do want to do, tackle those, have fun with those, enjoy those. And if you just don't really enjoy a certain video here and there, just watch it for the fun of it. Learn some techniques and methods that we use week after week, and you'll notice your painting is going to get better. You're going to just get better as a watercolor artist. Have fun with this. Again, always I say have fun, because you don't want to stress with your watercolors. You want to have fun with it, enjoy it, learn something new each time. If you fail at a painting, no big deal. I fail at paintings all the time. I take the painting, I flip it over, paint on the other side of the paper, of my watercolor paper, and I hope you'll do the same. Just chalk it up as you learn something new. You learn that you shouldn't do something here and there on your watercolor painting, flip the old painting over on the other side and start a new one. And that's all you have to remember. It's just a learning process. Go with it, have fun with it. And again, we'll get started on this video here. Again, thanks so much for all your comments. Thanks for all your great encouragement. I appreciate everybody that gives me encouragement. You give me these great comments, these great compliments. Trust me, it gets me excited, and that's why I do this channel, is because everyone here, we're all together with the same goal, getting better and better and better every time we pick up our brushes and our paints and our pencils to draw to get better at our watercolors. So thank you again, and let's get started with our video. Hey everyone, Chris Petri here. Thanks so much for coming by. I just want to thank everybody for the great comments, for the questions, for all the great encouragement that you give me week after week, month after month, and year after year. You know who you are. Many of you have been following me for years and years now, and I thank you so much for that. It's just really an encouragement, and you're all the reason why I come back week after week, month after month, and year after year, is because I know you're out there, you're learning watercolor, you're with me, we're all learning together. It's exciting. Watercolor is the great medium, and we're going to just keep moving forward, getting excited week after week. We just keep working at it. Doesn't matter if we did a terrible painting last week or the week after we did another terrible painting, didn't come out good, whatever. We just keep working and learning the techniques, the methods, all the things that will help us to get the result we want, which is better paintings. So let's get started. You saw the finished painting we just did here. Some beautiful, simple, one pretty much just like a dark brownish black, sort of like a monochromatic painting of some roses. We have some roses here, and this is just a beautiful painting you can create. You're not fussing about what colors to use. You're just going to use some blacks and some browns, and that's all you need. And it looks beautiful. You put it in some, you put it in a frame, maybe a nice black frame around this. So I hope you'll get excited. Let's get started. Let me see here. We have our lights up. Everything is good. Okay. So first thing I did was for this painting, as I kind of really just want to keep the discipline of having a good strong vertical going through the painting. So I took my ruler and I just went across here like so. And let me just get one vertical getting started here. Maybe one vertical going here. So maybe this vertical is going to go up about halfway, maybe a little more than halfway up the page in the rectangle. So let's take a look. Our rectangle is here. We're going to go right around the tape. I've taped my arches satin paper, hot press satin paper arches, gummed block. I'm using gummed block. Gummed block is beautiful. You do a painting and then you just peel it off the block and you're done. Okay, I have a couple splashes and spots on my paper from the other painting I did just a few weeks ago or whatever. No problem. Couple of spots and splashes here and there on your watercolor paintings, it's all the better. So here you saw I just did a quick vertical line with a ruler. Once you do that, then you can take that line and you can take an eraser and just soften it out. Maybe just erase it a little bit here and there, just so you have it there. Then I'm just going to go up and make some vine-like shapes, like this. Some stems, some vines, that's all. Quite simple. Okay, now here we're going to do a rose at the top. So I'm going to do a rose here at the top. It's kind of a squarish shape at the bottom. Now remember, this is your painting. You're going to have a fun time with this. You're going to do a beautiful job. Nothing fancy here, nothing too difficult. We're just going to do a beautiful rose shape. And we're going to go up here, go in a little bit. There's a little bit of a sharp shape there, and then we go up and there's another rectangular shape up here, like so, and it comes down. And then we have another shape over here, more of a pointy shape. So we're just kind of looking at the shapes. And there we go. We have our top, the top of our flower arrangement. We have our rose up here. And we'll put a couple lines of where we see some shadowing, but we're not really concerned too much because this is going to be more of a simple very simple, and there we go. We have a couple of sharp, beautiful shapes along the bottom of the rose here. And we come down to this point here. Now here, we're going to have another rose, and it's going to be starting here, and then it's going to go a little bit to the right. So this one is more centered. This rose is over here is going to go a little bit to the right, like that. And then I'm just following the shapes. And I want you to use my painting as your finished product that you're going to work from. And then here we're having the same idea, a nice rounded shape, and then more square at the bottom, more of a rectangular shape at the bottom. And then it's going to come up a little and have another like that, shape like that. And this is going to, again, this and we're going to have a couple leaves forms here and there, like so. Then we're going to come down here close to this. And again, don't feel afraid to use your eraser. I'm going to use my eraser here. I'm just going to trim off a little bit. My kneaded eraser, I'm just going to trim around it because it gets a lot of the lead gets on there on the eraser. So if I trim off the trim off some of that, and then I have more of a clean eraser to work with, like that. So I'm going to just do a little bit of erasing there. And we're going to start back again. And this rose here is going to be, it's going to start here. It's going to come up into a point like so. Then it's going to round off here. It's going to come into like a heart shape. And it's going to go there. And then it's going to go back down to that stem area. So we're going to have just that stem area like so. And then we're just going to see we're going to have a little bit of some and this is maybe a vase at the very base. So you can see the vase at the base here. And these are just some shapes of some green leaves, some green leaves here that are part of the composition that we're just gonna, like so. And some more and then here we're going to have some. Now what I'm going to do is just some very super light superficial lines like so, just so we have, we're going to use our needlepoint brush to get some really beautiful fine lines here to enhance our painting. But I think this is good. So let's take a break now. We've done our drawing, we've gotten our flower shapes in, and I just used a simple photograph that I found online of some roses. I just typed in roses images. I clicked on Google, did a Google search, found this, and I'm doing a variation on this, but I am sticking close to the 3 roses here and the shapes. And now what I'm going to do is we'll paint this next, but let's take a break. We've done the pencil drawing. That's the key. If you can get that pencil drawing in halfway decent, you're set. And then all that's next is really doing the painting, and we'll mix up some very simple colors. We're actually just going to use a monochromatic color scheme here. We're not going to use a lot of colors. We're actually just going to stick with our blacks, a little bit of browns, and maybe raw umber. So we're just going to use like browns and blacks for this, and it's going to look beautiful. You can put this in a gorgeous frame with a nice mat around it and a black frame. Would look so incredible in a living room, a dining room, a family room, a gift. You can put this in a show, a gallery show. This is just a real fun, simple composition, but yet very effective, and it looks incredible. I've seen these type of paintings in the finest of restaurants in the world. So trust me, if you do something like this, you never can go wrong with this. So let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll get started on the painting portion of these beautiful roses here. And we're going to again do it in a monochromatic color scheme, so we're not going to get into too much colors. Just going to keep it real simple. Splash some water on there, get some colors on, and we're going to have a fun time at this. Have fun with this, enjoy it, come along with us here. Keep painting, no frustrations, just fun. Have a good time with it. Try it 2, 3, 4 times until you get it where you really enjoy it and you think it looks just right for yourself, and you'll be all set. Okay, all right, we'll come right back and we'll get started in just a few minutes. All right, hey, everybody, thanks so much for coming by. Come on in here. We're going to do some more work. We're going to continue on with our beautiful roses painting. This is 3 roses here. We're going to do it in a real simple color scheme. We're going to use like a sepia tone type painting, a monochromatic. Just maybe some black paints. Maybe we'll use some ivory black. We'll use some Pines gray and some maybe burnt umber, and maybe some raw umber, and I think we'll have it. That's all we'll need is just a few colors. So we'll just start working out the colors in a second here. First thing we want to do is we want to just recap a little bit of what we did here. So we did our drawing first. We did 3 beautiful rose shapes here. We worked from this photograph we have online. We just looked up some roses. You know, you could just look up roses on Google, type in Google search, type in roses, type in 3 roses, 4 roses, 5, 2, whatever you want. That's all. And then you'll find hundreds of painting or hundreds of photographs. You pick one you like that you see looks good, that you want to do for a composition, and that's all. I picked this one here. It looks really good. Kind of a very nice, strong, vertical kind of a composition here, you know. So that looks really good. A nice vertical, strong vertical composition. So we have that. I set this across from me. I did a nice drawing. Did some light sketches of where I want my fine lines to go. Once we get back into the painting process, we're going to want to have a little bit of where the lines are going to go. You can erase those lines if you want, just to make them very, very subtle. So we can do that too. I'm just going to do that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just lift up those lines until they're barely visible. And that should be fine. Now the next thing is, let's wet the paper. So this is Arches hot pressed satin paper, smooth as silk satin paper. First thing we want to do is let's get a coat of water on the paper, the whole paper, just clean water. Notice I'm working with clean water, completely clean, fresh water. I cleaned my water bucket out first, swished it around, cleaned it out, washed it, and then I poured in some clean water. So now I'm working with clean, fresh, crystal clear water. Okay, I got that. Then I use my Da Vinci flat brush. Okay, and I just want to have a nice, decent flat brush where it's, you know, pretty good size. This is I think it's a 2 inch, or about, no, it's about actually an inch and a half, 30 millimeters. And then we'll just wet the whole paper with a light wash of water. Clean, crystal clear, clean water across the whole page, just like so. The whole paper, wet the whole paper. Slosh it on, get it on there. Wet the whole paper evenly, not so that it's flooding off your working table and wetting your floor and everything else, just enough that you dampen the whole paper just like so. And that's good. Now, next step, let's get the colors we're going to work with here. So we have our palette. We're going to use a simple color scheme, a little bit of raw umber, burnt umber, ivory black, and Payne's gray. So we're just going to work with those three colors, let them mix and mingle just like that. Get some more water like that, and that's all you need. And then you just need to just get some on there. Both sides of the page like so, just like that. Okay. When you do that, then you rinse the brush off really good, and then no paint, just the water, and just fade it in to the rose area here, so that you're going dark and then light into the center. This is impressing the vertical. We're doing vertical, just like so, like that. Make sure you cover all the paper, get it on there, and then leave the lightest section here where the roses are, and have it a little darker on the edges, as you can see how I did this here. And that's all. Now this is the tough part. You have to take a break now. Can you imagine that? Before you take a break though, please subscribe. I hope you're going to subscribe to my channel, because we're having fun here. We're always enjoying our watercolors. You're going to learn all kinds of fantastic techniques, methods, new ways of painting. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or an expert watercolor artist, you're going to learn some new things from this old guy here. And let's face it, you want to learn new techniques and new methods and techniques of how you're going to, do, paintings that are going to challenge you, take you to the next level, help you to learn new things outside of your box. We all sometimes think inside the box. They always say, let's think outside the box. Let's think outside the box. This is what we're doing. We're thinking outside the box on this painting. We're doing something different, but yet this is a really profound, beautiful painting. And again, I've seen some of these paintings in this style that are in some of the most, extravagant, most incredibly beautiful restaurants in the world. So this is something that you can really do that's just, goes beyond just your normal everyday watercolor paintings. This is really taking it to the next level, and I want you to share in that with me and have some fun with this, and that's what we're doing here. So you saw how I faded in darks here into the light. So now you see we have a nice vertical design pattern, if you will. So we're using a vertical design pattern. Vertical. Everything is vertical. We're going all the way across here. Our roses in the center of this painting are vertical this way. Our lines with our brush, our flat brush, is going vertical. Darker on the ends here, and then we fade it in and we leave it lighter in the center. That's all. Can you see that? How simple that is and how easy that is. And already we've set ourselves up for success because we're going with a dominant theme here. This is a dominant theme of vertical. The vertical, strong vertical lines of this painting is what makes this painting a strong, dominant painting. And it's really going to, when you're done with this, you're going to see it yourself. When you're home in your studio, you're home and you're painting this, you're going to say, oh my, I can see that. And when you're finished painting it, you're going to be really excited and say, wow, this does look beautiful, because we are going with a profound design pattern of the vertical. And then we're going to paint in these roses too, once this is dry though. So let's take another break. You have to take a break here. Let this completely dry 100%. You can use any paper you want. Doesn't matter. I'm using, again, Arches satin paper. It's hot pressed, gummed block paper. But the main thing is you can dry it with a blow dryer and dry it fast so you can keep working, or you can let it dry overnight, let's say, or dry 2 or 3 hours. Then you can go back in and work on it. But you definitely want to let this dry incredibly well first, and then you're all set. All right, hey, I always mention here too, before we let this dry and take a break, please subscribe. This is a great channel here we're going to do nothing but watercolors, everything watercolors. We're doing flowers, boats, seascapes, landscapes, cityscapes. We do figure painting. We do it all here, everything watercolor, so you can just enjoy yourself, have fun. Watch the videos that maybe you don't like to paint flowers, but that's okay. Watch this video. You can use these techniques and transfer that into something else that you might like. You might like boats, and then you can take the same idea and create a boat painting with this same design technique that we're using here. So like what I'm always saying is, on my channel, I'm hoping you're going to learn techniques, methods, design principles that are going to actually be able, you can use these with whatever style you like to paint in, whatever you might just like landscape paintings or maybe cityscape paintings, whatever it is. If you use the same principles, design techniques that we use, you can transfer those over to any style and any subject matter that you like to paint in. So don't feel like we're not bringing you any good content here. We are. So if you hit that subscribe button below here on the right-hand side, hit subscribe, keep watching us week after week, and again, you'll learn all the great profitable techniques you need to make better watercolors. And if you hit the notification bell when you hit subscribe, if you hit that notification bell, this way you know exactly when our new videos are coming out. You can watch it, you can learn what we're doing here, and if you want to watch and paint along with us, fine, great. If not, well, you just wait till the next week and you can paint along with the next painting we do. But again, I think it's really good that you watch each video full through, and you can learn a lot of information on how to paint watercolor. And come right back here in just a second. We're going to just take a quick minute or two, take a break. I'm going to actually use my blow dryer. I'm going to blow dry this all, make sure it's 100% dry, so that when we go in and do our second wash over the top of this, or glazing, this is a glazing technique now we're using. Just to let you know, there's usually 2 techniques you can use. You can use alla prima, or you can use the glazing technique. This is the glazing technique where you're going with a light wash over the top first, letting it dry 100% dry, and then you come over the top and you do a darker wash on top of the lighter wash, and that's your glazing technique. Now, if we were doing alla prima technique, that means you're just going to go in and maybe do the darks first. So maybe we would go in and paint these flowers first, which are darker in tonal value compared to the light background, and then go over with a darker or a lighter wash behind it. But this painting here is better to do a lighter wash first in the glazing technique method, and then go with the darker darks afterwards. So that's just some of the things that we cover here on my channel. And again, stick with us here. You're going to have a great time, a fun time. Are you learning something? Yes, you are. Okay, absolutely excellent. And let me tell you, we're always here week after week, month after month, year after year. We're going to be here for the long haul to help you get better at your watercolors so that you're happy, excited, and I hope you're going to be taking your watercolors to the next level. Okay, so let's get started on the next portion. Let's let this dry first, though. So give us a few minutes, and we'll let this dry. I'm going to use my blow dryer offline here so you don't have to hear the noise, and we'll come right back, and we'll paint the rest of this painting. Okay, so we're just going to get back into this painting here. We're getting started again. We just took a quick break, so I'm hoping everybody's having a fun time here. We're having a great time. We're just doing a simple painting. We're doing some flowers, some roses. We're doing a simple, very incredibly basic color scheme. We're using some blacks, some browns, some raw umbers, and we're just gonna, this is a painting where when we're completed here, when you're completed, I know you're gonna complete this painting. You're gonna do it at home. I'm excited for you. You're gonna do something very similar to this. You're gonna get your first wash on. You're gonna wet the whole paper, just a nice damp wash over the top of some nice satin paper here, some nice smooth satiny paper. You're going to do a little bit darker on the edges, and you're going to fade it into more of a lighter wash here in the center. You're going to let that dry 100%. And then first thing you did before we even got into the painting, you did some flowers, whatever flowers you like. I like roses a lot, so I'm doing some roses here. You can do any type of flower you like. You put a couple of flowers in this scene, not too many, just a few. We don't want to have too many flowers crowding the rectangle here. We want to have a nice simple composition, so that you have the simple composition of a few, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5 flowers, simple, not crowding too much and filling too much of the rectangle. We want to leave a lot of beautiful area for light wash of watercolor paint. Here you can see how we did that. To wet the whole paper, light washes here. We used our flat brush here along the sides. We made sure that we can see the vertical lines of the washes like this, so that we're having strong vertical lines going through our composition. And then now we have our strong vertical line of our flowers, the stems of the flowers and the flowers in the center. That's what we're looking for. And then at this point now we're ready to take our round brush. I'm going to use a Raphael number 6 round brush. And now we're going to get into the more darker tonal values of this scene. Let's do it. Let's get started. So here we have our lighter washes up here. Let's just let that sit up there because we're going to use this a little bit later for some splashing technique. But let's get in here and do some straight paint, no water. So basically I just rinsed off my brush, dried off a little bit of the water on my brush, and now I'm going right into the browns, ivory black, Payne's gray, and now we have a nice dark mixture. Rinse my brush again, dry off the brush, the water off the brush, and then we go in here and we just pick up some of that paint. And let's start up, let's start down here. There you go. Can you see that? Beautiful dark straight paint, no water. You don't want to be mixing. See how that's really tons of water in there? You don't want that. For this part, when you're doing the roses here and the stems, you don't want this type of a mixture of really, see that? You don't want that. You want to dry off your brush, rinse off your brush. You want to go straight paint, no water. Ivory black, Payne's gray, burnt umber, raw umber. Mix that in, maybe a touch of cerulean blue. That will never hurt. And then you just get in there and you do your nice, gorgeous flower shapes of the rose here. And there we go. Let things happen as they will. Don't get too frustrated or worried, or just get that flower shape in there. A little bit of a rectangular shape at the bottom, like so. There you go. Then we're going to go with the sort of the budding part of the bottom of the flower, the rose, and then here you just bring it down a little bit so you have that there. If you want to give it a little variation, do a quick little touch down with the tissue, and then let's get back in. We're going to do again ivory black, Payne's gray, burnt umber, raw umber. Get a mixture of those. And there we're just gonna get our shapes in that we need to. Don't take too long here. The key is quickness. To do it this quick. Don't, you know, fast. Simple, fast, focused. Simple, fast, focused. Just remember that. If you can remember those 3 key phrases, keywords, simple. We're doing a simple composition. We're painting this fast, and we're staying focused on what our composition is. 3 roses here. And if you can do that, you're going to be way ahead of the game. There we go. And then just swoop on down like that. And there's a couple of splashes there. If you get a little bit of a splash here and there, no worries, let it happen. And then I'm going to do a little bit of thicker lines here. And what I'll do is I'll start to pick up now with my needlepoint brush here. See how pointy that needlepoint brush is? Can you see how pointy that is? That's going to be perfect for our fine lines. I'll wet this brush, dampen it up, and then I'll dampen it up, and then I'll dry off a little bit of the water, and then I'll go right into this here, into our paint here, and then now we're going to start getting into our more see how I can now there we go. So if you just let the paint do the work, and then just have a few, see, I'm going to use this to get my sharp, beautifully sharp lines here, and then I can go back in and switch back and forth here. So we'll do some more of this. I'll do a little splashing like so. And again, simple, fast, focused. Get it in. Don't fuss around too much. We have a vase here, a little bit lighter wash there. A couple more splashes here and there. So that's all we're doing, is just trying to be faithful to our drawing. So we're just following along our drawing with what we did earlier, and then we're using our tools, our brushes. You know, we have our needlepoint brush, and if you just, we can use that. Look at that, how incredible that is. And then here we just do some more. We're gonna, again, couple lines here and there. Again, ivory black, Payne's gray, burnt umber. A couple of lines up here. This, you can use your needlepoint brush to really do a couple like that, a couple more, and that, not too many, and I think that's it, really. Maybe one this way like that, just a couple maybe out of the picture, and then we take our back to our round brush, and just a few splashes here and there, like so, and that's it. That's pretty much it. If you want to blot up a few of the splashes with a clean tissue to lighten them up, if you don't want them to be too prominent, or if they look, if you feel that they're not looking great, but I'm thinking they look really good, a couple splashes. And again, I might do a larger leaf here. So I'm going to go with ivory black, Payne's gray, burnt umber. Maybe I'm going to go this way here and just do a nice large like that, and then maybe up here too. Let's do another one over here. That to me looks good. A couple more splashes up here. And I think that's perfect. Look at that. Have fun with this, enjoy it. Again, I can't really explain it, but if you just do things in a real simple fashion, kind of work quickly, fast, don't take too much time. This took us, what, half an hour. And we have this whole painting completed 100%. That's all you need to do. And you can add a little more detail here with the needlepoint brush like I'm doing. That's all fine and good. You can add a little, maybe a couple berry shapes or something. The more variation too looks great. If you can add some variation to your paintings. So now adding these little round berry type shape things here, that really can lend to a really beautiful look, so that you have more variation to your painting like that. So you have flowers, you have fine lines of the weeds and stems, you have more thicker leaves here, you have your flower shapes, you have splashes, you have a couple berry shapes here and there, all for the better. Maybe you take some more dark and go really super dark, and you add a little dark to that here and there. Add a little dark. Take some really just straight paint, straight ivory black, and just add some ivory black to that. Maybe add some ivory black to some of those berry shapes that you have in there. Maybe a little bit of ivory black to the bottoms of those roses here. Again, the more variation, you're going to have a better looking painting. See how I'm doing this? I'm just making layers of variation, but again, not too much. We want to try to limit what we're doing here. We don't want to go too. Maybe this vase is not a really good idea. Maybe you want to go with no vase here at the bottom. It's up to you. Maybe you don't want to go with any splashing. Maybe you're just a few splashes and you don't want to do too much splashing at all. That's fine. It's up to you, but I think this really looks fantastic. It looks like a beautiful composition. And again, you're gonna see this painting at the beginning of the video. So I hope you enjoy this, have fun with it, and we'll see you on the next video. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's really simple. It's the red button down here below to the right hand side. If you hit subscribe, you can subscribe to all our videos. We are here every week. We create new videos. We do all kinds of compositions, flowers, seascapes, landscapes, boat paintings, figure paintings. We do everything. Watercolor. So as long as you're following along each week, you'll be learning the watercolor medium to a really high level. And that's the main thing. If you're watching each video as we go, you'll be really set. You'll be learning all the key methods, techniques, and key principles of watercolor. So thanks for watching. Appreciate all your comments. Leave your comments, leave your questions. any questions you have, please leave them. I'll be happy to answer them in the comments section, of course, always. And we'll see you on the next video. See you soon. Bye-bye.